So this video is going to be much different than anything else I've ever made before. Recently there's been an air of frustration surrounding this channel, which has become pretty apparent in a few of my most recent videos. So I want to take a step back and make something positive for the community and the game. I'm mainly going to be talking about things that I genuinely find great about the game, rather than just some generic things about the game, because believe it or not, I actually like the game. So this video is basically all about my favorite things in For Honor, so let's not waste any more time and get right into it. I want to start this video off with what hooked me to this game in the first place, other than the actual idea of the game, and that's the Art of Battle system. Now, for those of you who don't know, Art of Battle is the name for the fight system Ubisoft created for this game, and it really is, in my opinion, the best thing about this game and is truly one of a kind. I really haven't seen anything like it, and I'm sure that it will have influence on any other title trying to make a third-person fighter, as it's easy to pick up and understand. And as far as third-person fighters go that aren't limited to a stage, For Honor does it best. Other games that try and tackle weapon-based melee often look clunky and feel chunky, especially the first-person ones, and others turn into hack and slashes, but the Art of Battle system feels fluid and looks wonderful. It's simple enough. You've got your triangular widget to tell you which direction your guard is and where you'll be attacking from. You block and you attack, and as you get used to the game, you start implementing different techniques: dodging, parrying, feinting, deflecting, all that fun stuff. And something that I often overlook, as I'm always so focused on the fighting, is the way everything chains together. It is so detailed, and you can tell Ubi put a lot of time into making sure that this game would look great to watch. I'm not sure if Valkyrie is supposed to swing her spear like that, but everything looks good. It looks smooth no matter what stance you're in or what you're switching to. The transitions never look bad. The movements never look bad. The emotes even have different transitions for each stance. Each stance even has a different idle animation. Art of Battle isn't perfect, and we may rag on it because it's young, but I mean, they didn't really have anything to influence them or anything to learn from. And I'm sure that when or if the next game releases, the Art of Battle will have evolved into something even more complete, as they can learn from any mistakes or oversights they may have had. Something else that I've been noticing a lot more recently is how Ubisoft is handling post-release content. Nowadays, there's been some animosity toward all the AAA game developers for how they basically release a title half-baked and then milk it for almost every penny. Or even worse, they try to release a game that looks like a complete package, waiting until, the reviews are in, and then they milk the game. For Honor hasn't done this, ever. You can earn almost everything by just playing the game, except for a few exclusives and arcade mode. Rather than having two currencies, a regular earnable currency and a premium currency, For Honor opts to have just one currency that can be earned or bought. And it's a little surprising considering how easily Ubi could have implemented some sort of premium currency like gold or something. Sure, the prices are a little high for some things, but you can easily earn like 10,000 steel a week if you play the game for like an hour a day to just do your quick orders and participate in some events. The steel gain outside of orders may be limited, but that's understandable, as Ubi doesn't want you to be able to buy literally everything so easily. As for paid post-release content, again, it's so rare that you actually get to access paid DLC for free, but in For Honor you can, and it's a breath of fresh air. If you don't want to spend more money on your $60 purchase, if you got it for $60, you don't have to pay to play the new modes or new heroes. All you gotta do is wait a week and save up 15,000 steel. This will be even more apparent in the next few seasons, where they'll only be releasing one new hero. I doubt that they'll sell as many year 3 passes, since waiting a week to play one new hero isn't that bad, and the Shigoki rework will be available for everyone. If you do decide to spend $30, you basically get, early access to the heroes and a whole bunch of other goodies, which is why I don't really understand why so many people are angry at Ubi for charging for another year pass. It's not like a Call of Duty season pass that goes out of its way to split up the player base. Again, Ubi could have locked these heroes behind a permanent paywall like, say, Mortal Kombat, but they didn't, and I really like that. I even appreciate the events that they do. I never really talk about them, but they create brand new game modes, again for free for everyone to enjoy, and some of them are actually fun. The Assassin's Creed event is a fun take on Dominion. Inferno Dominion was a fun take on Dominion. We had that Icebreakers event, Test Your Metal, my personal favorite, Carousel of Death and Dance of Death. At one point we even had a no HUD mode, which I don't think has ever came back, and I honestly think it was one of the first ones we had. These events are generally popular, and according to most of you guys, Test Your Metal is the most popular one, it seems, and they do a good job at breaking up the action and liven up the game a bit during dry times. It's looking like we'll get one of these events for the next 4 seasons as well, which is a plus in my eyes, and if you don't like them, you just don't have to play them. Next thing I want to talk about really fast is the Warriors Den. I know that I've been really critical of the Warriors Den a few times and sometimes take it for granted, but I'd be lying if I said that it isn't one of the best things the devs have done for this game. If the Warriors Den didn't go on almost every week, this community would be in a pretty bad state in my opinion. The Warriors Den may not answer every question that we've got, but it's leagues better than no communication and does a better job at relaying information than most other studios. Again, everything isn't covered, and sometimes we don't hear what we want to hear, but would you rather have some random post thrown out on their website or on Reddit once a month instead? We've been getting weekly shows for over a year now with charismatic hosts, and I think it's something that a bunch of people look forward to get new info on the game or to just see some new content of the week. And speaking of content of the week, we get a lot of content in this game, a ton of it. We get new emotes, new effects, new executions, new mythics, new masks, new weapons, and most importantly, battle outfits consistently. My favorites are, of course, the executions, which we get about once a season, understandably, because of how much work they are, and honestly, they get better and better each time they release a new batch, but everything else is appreciated as well. I know there's a ton of work that goes into it, and again, it's something that gets taken for granted because of how consistent it is. And you know, dev support isn't all too new nowadays, now that the games as a service model is becoming more and more common nowadays, but weekly content, big or small, is not common in a game that's already been released and not in beta. And I really mean this, but I think that if Ubi updated the gameplay more frequently, For Honor would easily be one of the best games to utilize the games as a service model, and I'd go as far as to say that For Honor could be an example as to how to support a game long term, as it only really has that one flaw. Say what you want about Ubisoft as a whole, but the For Honor team has done such a great job with post-release content in a full-price game, especially in a market that can just feel slimy at times when some developers feel like they're always trying to slowly reach for your wallet. One thing that I think people will remember this game for more than anything else other than the art of battle are the heroes and the general design of the game. Gameplay wise, the heroes are solid, but design wise, almost every hero is great. I've mentioned this before, but only briefly. I think that if you can have a hero be so underpowered and still have players use them unironically, then you've created a good hero. They may not have more than 4 lines of dialogue per hero, but they have some memorable one-liners yelled in their native language that won't be forgotten. The armor and outfits of the heroes may stray a bit from reality, but that doesn't change the fact that they're awesome and recognizable, even the base says. And when I look at it this way, I start to see that the art team or whoever works on the visuals in this game has always put out quality work, from the character designs to the armors to the weapons to the effects, the maps, all of it. It always looks good, and it feels like they're always working on something. We may get on the dev team about speed, but the art team is always fast, it seems like. They always have something new for us each week, even if it's just a battle outfit. There's even little things like how some executions ledge and how some are different if you land your finishing blow from the back, and the way that the minions applaud when you defeat another hero, the way that the pikemen cover their heads when the lava is about to fall on them, and how there's a drummer in the ram. All of those little things add up, and there's tons of other tiny details in For Honor that I just enjoy. I may be praising the art team, but whoever works on the audio did an amazing job with the game as well on almost every front, with the only real hiccup being the responsive dialogue system and those new voices. The game sounds great at every level. The way the armor clanks around on the knights, the way the battlefield sounds in Breach with weapons clashing and the soldiers in the ram with their chants, the satisfying fight sounds of a deflect or light parry, or landing a blow on an enemy, or even the music. It all sounds fantastic, and again, the team did a great job with it. And the last thing I want to say is about the community really fast. From the outside, the community looks like a broken, toxic mess with everyone having wildly different opinions as no one can seem to agree on anything. But whenever there's not talks of balance, there's a pretty solid community here. 3 different factions, each with their own subreddits and jabs at each other. There's the consistent content creators and streamers, and there's plenty of memes and original content and artwork. For a seemingly struggling game to hold a community of so many people for so long is really something to me. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. I really wanted to talk about things that weren't so generic because we all know what the good parts of the game are. I've wanted to make this video for a while, but just never did, and I figured now's the time that I'd actually sit down and put it together, since I've been seeing some of you guys let me know how negative my videos have been feeling, and I really don't mean to come off as angry or toxic or malicious or just plain upset. I try to always have a reason to make a video rather than just making a rant for the sake of making a rant because something set me off. I try to see things from both sides and try to find reasoning behind everything, even if I don't like it. I do see where you guys are coming from though, and will try not to come off as ranty, but I won't do a complete 180 and start acting chipper at every little thing because that would just be disingenuous, and I don't ever want to come off as being fake on this channel. If I'm genuinely excited for something, I want you to be able to tell that I'm excited, and if I've got a problem with something, I want to explain why and not just yell into a microphone. I just wanted to address that really fast, but that's actually all I've got for the video. I do want to hear you guys' opinion though, so talk to me down in the comments and let me know what your favorite thing about this game is. And as always, if you agree with me or just like the video, feel free to like, sub if you're new, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.